You've all been patiently waiting, and now it's time for another Dealing with Horny Men Abroad. And you guys are in for a treat because there was not one story from one night, but two. And I'll save the best for last. So my best friend came to visit me in Colombia, and we go to Cartagena. We stay at the Viajero hostel, which is typically known as like the party hostel, right? And we check in at around the same time as this Dutch guy. So we both go, we're in the same room, we're just, talking to each other while we unpack, learning about each other's lives, blah, 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 blah. Eventually, we get asked, like, what our plans were for the night, and we told him we were gonna go to a salsa bar that's pretty famous, and then we don't really know after that. So he told us that he has a bunch of friends who have been in Cartagena, and they all really love this one club called, like, Ibiza. So we were like, oh, okay, cool. Parted ways. We went to the salsa bar, which is called Cafe Havana, by the way, and highly recommend. So we get to Ibiza. We didn't even tell this Dutch guy that we were going. We just kind of went off of vibes. But we get there, we run into him. It's like this cool rooftop bar, and he immediately goes, whoa, you're here, like, let's go take shots. And we're like, sure, why not? So we go to take shots, and everything's just fine and dandy. We meet up with a couple of other people from the hostel that were also in our room, and then this Dutch man puts his hands on me. And when I say he put his hands on me, I mean he came over to tell me something. So he leans into like my ear, obviously because it's loud, and then he puts both his hands on my hips. And so I'm trying to give this guy the benefit of the doubt, and I just like took a step back. But then 5 minutes later, he finds his way over to me in the circle and puts his hands on my hips again. And I physically removed his hands, like I looked at him like, what the fuck are you doing? And walked away. And so it gets to a point where I'm sitting in a chair, and I was like, please, like, stop. Like, I've already asked you to stop multiple times. Like, you're not getting it. And he just looks at me like a fucking hurt puppy, and he goes, oh, come on, like, we're just having fun. We're just having fun. And I was so pissed. And so then, finally, I was like, okay, how can I get this to stop? And I really just wanted to go home at that point. So I told him, I was like, you know what? You're right. Maybe I just need to loosen up a little bit. Go get me another mojito. And so he did. And as soon as he did, my friend and I dipped as fast as we could. But the funniest part about all this is that anytime we saw him in the room after the fact, he would give us the silent treatment. He would act really, really upset. Even though I gave him no hints, I kept telling him that I didn't want him to touch me, and he was completely in the wrong. And I'll make a second video for the second guy, because that one's a crazier, longer story.